In the heart of a secluded Hmong village nestled in the mountains of Laos, life was harsh yet serene. The villagers were preparing for the long winter, gathering supplies and fortifying their homes. Among them was a young girl named Chia, known for her vibrant spirit and the red scarf she always wore, a gift from her late grandmother. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, Chia set out to fetch water from the river. She was humming a tune, the red scarf fluttering in the chilly breeze. The villagers saw her leave, her silhouette gradually blending with the encroaching darkness. But as night fell and the cold winds howled, Chia did not return. The village was plunged into a state of panic. Men, women, and children grabbed lanterns and torches, calling out Chia's name as they scoured the surrounding forest. They searched until dawn, but there was no trace of her, only her red scarf, eerily draped at the base of the ancient spirit tree, a gnarled and towering presence that had stood for centuries. The spirit tree was sacred and feared. Elders told stories of its mystical powers, believing it to be the gateway between the living and the dead. The sight of Chia's scarf there sent shivers down their spines. Despite their fears, they pressed on, hoping against hope to find her. But as days turned into weeks, the hope waned, and the village was shrouded in sorrow. Winter had settled in, blanketing the village in snow and ice. One bitterly cold night, as the village lay silent under a canopy of stars, the air was pierced by a mournful wail. It was a sound that sent chills down the spine of anyone who heard it, a child's cry, filled with despair. A group of villagers, their curiosity mingled with fear, followed the sound to the spirit tree. There, in the dim light of their lanterns, they saw a ghostly figure, Chia. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow, and her red scarf fluttered as if caught in an unseen wind. She reached out, her voice a haunting whisper, "Help me." The villagers fled in terror, their minds reeling from what they had seen. They knew then that Chia's spirit was trapped, unable to find peace. As winter dragged on, sightings of Chia's ghost became more frequent. She was seen wandering the village, her cries echoing in the night. The spirit tree became a place of dread, no one dared go near it. The village shaman performed rituals and offerings, but nothing seemed to quell the restless spirit. One night, a brave young man named Tu, driven by a desire to end the suffering, decided to confront Chia's spirit. He went to the spirit tree, carrying offerings and chanting prayers. As he approached, the air grew colder, and shadows seemed to dance among the branches. He placed the offerings at the base of the tree and began his chant, his voice trembling. Suddenly, an icy grip seized his heart. He looked up to see Chia's ghostly form hovering above him, her eyes filled with sorrow and anger. "Why did you leave me?" she whispered, her voice a chilling breeze. Tu tried to respond, but his words froze in his throat. He felt a force pulling him towards the tree, the ground beneath him giving way. The villagers found Tu the next morning, unconscious at the base of the tree. He was feverish and delirious, muttering incoherently about Chia and the spirits. The shaman knew that drastic measures were needed. He gathered the villagers and prepared for a final ritual to appease Chia's spirit and break the curse. As night fell, the shaman led the villagers to the spirit tree. They brought offerings of food, incense, and Chia's favorite toys. The shaman began the ritual, chanting and invoking the spirits. The air grew thick with tension, and the temperature plummeted. Chia's ghost appeared once more, her form flickering in and out of sight. The shaman spoke to her, his voice calm yet firm. He told her that she was loved, that her family missed her, and that it was time for her to find peace. Tears streamed down Chia's ghostly cheeks as she listened. The villagers joined in the chant, their voices merging into a harmonious plea. The red scarf, still hanging from the tree, began to glow softly. Chia's spirit reached out and touched it, and a bright light enveloped her. The villagers shielded their eyes, and when they looked again, Chia was gone. The scarf fell to the ground, its color vibrant once more. The village slowly returned to normal, the curse lifted, and the spirit tree no longer a place of dread. Chia's memory lived on, and the villagers ensured her story was never forgotten. They continued to honor the spirits, but now with a sense of reverence rather than fear. Chu recovered, though he would always remember his brush with the supernatural. The red scarf was placed in a shrine, a symbol of the bond between the living and the dead. And on quiet nights, when the wind whispered through the branches of the spirit tree, some said they could still hear Chia's laughter, a reminder of a young girl who found her way home.